your pharmacist that cares. And happy opening day. As you see, I've got my cardinal stuff on, my little cardinals earrings. It is a very dreary, cold, windy day in St. Louis. So we'll see how that goes. For all the opening day festivities. If you've never been, you guys go once in your life. We went 2 years ago. It was about like this. We took blankets, had to wear winter coats over our jerseys. But there is something about being there. If you're from St. Louis, you totally get it. There's nothing better than when the Clydesdales come out. That was probably my favorite part, and all the Hall of Famers. So if you can't be there, watch it on TV. I'm not even sure what time it starts. I have to check. But anyway, I digress. So April is Stress Awareness Month. So today you guys are in for a big treat. I have a fantastic friend of mine, Amy Rizner, with Ryze Up To Organize. And I thought, what a perfect guest to have during Stress Awareness Month, because organization is so key to our stress and overall health and wellness. How many times do you guys look around and you're like, oh my gosh, it adds stress to you, right? If you got piles here or piles there, because if you're not organized around your house, you can't be organized up here. And then it causes a lot of stress and it just really causes a lot of anxiety around the house. You're a little more irritable. So that's why I want to talk to Amy today so you guys can hear from her and what she does. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
I know, so crazy, right? Thank you so much for joining me today. I just thought this was perfect for the month of April because we all need to get organization, whether in our house, whether in our business, or in our heads. And this really can be something that can help with our stress and overall health and wellness. So I've got some questions for you, and then just feel free just to kind of keep elaborating on it. Obviously, we're talking about organization. So what do you really mean by organization? What does that mean to you?
Right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be a guest on your on your live. So organization to me is, and a lot of people, it really is more than just pretty bins and the things that you think make you organized. Organization is a lifestyle, and it's created on purpose by habits and routines that you establish yourself. And sometimes some people have the natural gift of organization skills. Some people have other natural gifts, and organization is not one of those, which would be some of my clients. And sometimes, no matter which category you fall in, the seasons of life that you're in, like the season of life that you go through, just directly affects your ability to achieve the level of organization that you wish that you had. Yeah, so
I will,
that's my.
I will definitely agree with that because both of us, it's just like we talked yesterday about our kids being in so many activities. And one day we will miss that. And it is a very busy season of life right now. And sometimes we do need that little bit of extra help just to keep ourselves on a normal, even keel. So, speaking of that, since we're talking about stress, so how do you think organization or being disorganized affects your level of stress?
Well, so both can cause stress, actually. And I'm going to state an opinion. It's my opinion, maybe others too, maybe unpopular, but to me, honestly, the organization industry that I'm part of has actually more recently exploited the current trend of organization products in the retail industry. And don't get me wrong, I love having a variety of products now. It is easier than even 4 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago now to find affordable products, a good variety of products, more things that you need, at affordable prices, and you're not just limited to one place for one item. But at the same time, wow, the options galore is overwhelming and stressful in itself, or it is to me, like somebody who doesn't enjoy shopping anyways. The options are super overwhelming. So, and the retail industry has capitalized on what it does best, right? Convincing buyers that they need all of the products or better products to achieve their organization goals. And so the problem that I see with that is, using products to fulfill that need or that idea that the products themselves will make you an organized person. It has, created impulse buying, compulsive shopping, worse than it was before, because now you feel like, well, I have to buy this to be more organized. So I'm justifying, my compulsive shopping habits, fear of missing out, or even buyer's remorse, in that like you're questioning, oh my gosh, I just bought this, but there must be something better. There must be a better way of doing things. And of course, in life, there's multiple ways. There's no right way to be organized. It's your way. It's what makes your life less stressful, basically. So when the goal of purchasing organizing products is supposed to make you feel more organized, it can have the opposite effect sometimes and make you feel more stressed, just from that, side. And then again, on the flip side of it, disorganization, when you're disorganized, which is sometimes caused by a lack of ability. Again, like maybe you're just not that person with the natural gift of organization. Sometimes it's a lack of cooperation, like among household members. And it's not necessarily like a malicious thing. Sometimes it's just having different organization styles. And then sometimes it's just like, if you're a mother with young kids, of course they don't have, they just don't have the cognitive ability quite yet. And they need those reminders, and it is a learned, sometimes organization is also a learned habit. Again, goes back to the first thing, like it's a habit and routine that you actually create, and that you model for your kids. And then sometimes disorganization is caused by mismanaged time, right? Like we just have poor time management skills, or we think something's only going to take 5 or 10 minutes and really it takes 30 minutes, and we just don't schedule things into our day. So mismanagement of time and things can lead to like a cluttered household, which in like directly then correlates to like more stress. And like you said, like it's clutter, physical clutter can cause cluttering of the mind, and then just bring on more stress. So, and then again, like sometimes disorganization is directly related to a particular season in your life. So giving yourself some grace, and just, again, not trying to hold yourself to like really high standards of a perfect, like what's perfect organization, can minimize your stress that you're actually putting on yourself. If
I
that makes
agree
sense.
with it. Oh my gosh, it so does. And you were talking about the pretty bins. I'm guilty of that. You go and you're like, oh, those are fantastic. But then what happens? You get home and life keeps going, right? And you don't have time to use those bins. So yes, they can cause more stress as you're staring at them thinking, I bought those to get organized, and now they're still sitting on my kitchen counter. So
Right.
that is, all those things are so true. But you're right. We do need to give ourselves grace sometimes and live in the moment and not be so stressed. But that's exactly why we need somebody like you. So, how can an organizer help?
Yes. So a professional organizer is that neutral and objective party, that just we bring a different perspective, and we are objective. So we don't have, there's, if you have 5 blouses, when you're talking about like decluttering a closet or something, if you have like all of like multiple clothes and things, and some clients will say, well, they feel the stress and the pressure from either a household member or friend or somebody telling them, well, get rid of this and get rid of this, you don't ever wear this, you don't need this, and so they're making the decisions for them, really. And so the professional organizer is the one who guides you through the process, but you're the one making the decisions. So we're giving you the guidance. We're giving you like with empathy, right? But also just like an objective perspective on things too. And then sometimes it's reassurance, because if you want to keep a certain amount of things and you have the space for it, there's also that pressure in society of declutter and get rid of this and get rid of that. And a lot of times I walk into clients' homes and they say, "Oh, I just need to get rid of things," or maybe they've been told, or they feel they need to get rid of things, and I just don't have space, and I don't have the right space for things. And more times than none, they have the space. They're just not using it properly. They just don't know how to use it and like maximize the space. Now, not to say they can't get rid of a few things. And sure, if you're not wearing, like all 10 of those white blouses? Do you really need all 10? But again, sometimes we provide the reassurance that it's okay to keep things, right? And it's okay to let them go. And then also we provide accountability. Sometimes it's just the act of body doubling and working with someone. Um, some of my clients actually have the ability, and I work with them and I go, you're doing great. Like, you can do this all on your own. I know you can. And they go, yeah, but I wouldn't. If you weren't here standing here doing it with me, I wouldn't do it. So sometimes it's just a professional organizer is the person that allows you to block out time in your calendar to do the things you need to do, to find that like perfect boundary in your life to, um, to have a little bit less stress and getting the things done that you need to have done. But the key to that is finding the right organizer to meet your needs. Because if you are looking for someone to come and just rehaul your pantry, then you want somebody with an eye for design, or more design ability than you have, right? But if you're looking for somebody to come and be that sympathetic ear and somebody to be patient and listen to your stories, because you're having a really hard time letting go like a few things in this bin or this box or this room, then you can't have, then you need somebody who has more of that empathetic touch, not just the designer, but somebody who has more of like this, how do I want to say, like a psychology, not that they have to have a degree, but somebody that's just very personal and relatable, somebody you feel comfortable sharing information with, and you feel comfortable being vulnerable with, I guess the right word I'm looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think so many people think when they think of an organizer, they're going to come in, they're going to toss my stuff, right?
Right.
Because they're trying to get rid of things, but that's not at all. I mean, maybe there are some of those people out there, but that's not you at all. I mean, like you said, you're going to go through, and if people want to keep things, you're not going to force. Person.
Sure. Well, I'd love to say everyone. I can help everyone, but no. there's there's no such thing as one size fits all when it comes to human nature, right? Because again, we all have our gifts, we have our talents. I am great at tetrising items together, but like I just mentioned, that person for the design element, yeah, I can put the pretty bins together just like anybody else. But if you're looking for someone to take a blank room and completely redo it, I'm not your person. I need something to work with. So that's just me personally. That's my style. But typically, my clients they actually find me through mutual friends or former clients, and they find me through Google searches. So I found that the clients that I've bonded with the most, and like maybe they've had the most or I've had the most impact on them that I can tell, are the ones who find me just organically online, where it seems there's some force of nature that's just drawing them towards me, something in my website they hear, see, or maybe somebody sees me on this, I keep calling it a podcast, but this interview, and find something that they can relate to. So depending on the type of the session, there are a lot of personal stories that are shared with some of my clients. So again, being like, my ideal client is somebody that I love hearing the stories. But then I am able to just use my experience too, my life experience, to speak into their life. And I just get a great feeling at the end of the day when I walk away from a session and I'm just like, I have goosebumps, or I'm just like energized instead of exhausted. I know that I'm in that client's life for a reason, and they're my client. So the first category of my ideal client, I have two different categories of clients. that I would say are people that I love to help, and I'm meant for them. The first category is somebody who might be so completely frustrated with their situation that they're ready to face their nervousness or their embarrassment. Like, just put it aside, because by the end of the first session, like, I can hear and see the relief in their voice. Like, at the end of the day, when I leave, they're just like, "Oh my gosh, I was so nervous to let you in." You can see their uptight shoulders when I walk through the door, but then when I leave, they're just like, "I'm exhausted, but I feel so great." Like, or they're exhausted, but they're energized at the same time, right? And their situation might be one, and they can be young, they can be older. Like, I help people from young single women in their 20s, 30s, to young couples in their 20s, 30s, to older single women or single men, seniors, up to, I think my oldest client was maybe 86. And he was a hoot. And again, it's the stories, right? It's just relating. It's that human relation with somebody. But situations that if you see yourself in, like maybe a room or two or three of your house has gotten out of control, and maybe you're losing items, like playing hide and seek with things, and you're constantly like looking for things because you can't remember where you laid it down, or you have multiple members in your household and there's not an established place for things, and so things just kind of get thrown wherever. And maybe you're losing money rebuying things because it's easier or quicker to just go rebuy it or click that button on, online shopping, than it is to actually complete the endless search of where things might be. Maybe there's still a number of unopened boxes in your basement from your last move several years ago, and again, that means that you've rebought items because you never took the time to go through your boxes, and some of those boxes might even have just completely obsolete things in them now. And just knowing, a lot of times, knowing that those things are in your basement or in your house, or taking up space. Also, again, there's something to be said for out of sight, out of mind. That's why people like have a throw it all, like a catch all room or whatever. And they close the door, out of sight, out of mind. I feel better. But you don't. And those are my clients too, because they go, "I just keep closing the door and it just keeps adding things on, I just keep piling things in." But they know, like, in the back of their mind, again, it's cluttering their mind too. They know it's there. They know it's there, And so it's somebody that's ready to just like be able to leave the door open and see a nice clean space, and they walk by the hallway and it just feels great just to know that it's, that room is meant even to be just an empty guest room. It's being what it's meant to be, right? And then maybe like with the storms that we've had recently, maybe it's your garage is overtaken, but it's maybe your garage is a catch-all, especially if you have a lot of kids going in and out, and you've got sports, like sporting events, you got baseball, you got hockey, lacrosse, like all the things, lacrosse, basketball, all the things that take up space, the equipment and stuff. And so maybe you need to reclaim some of that garage space, especially these days with the Missouri storms that are coming through, so that you can protect your property, right? So that you're not spending more money, because you don't have organized space. So that's the first category of people, right? It's just daily life, organization in the household. The second category of people would be those people who are moving. And either they're feeling overwhelmed by the move, because there's a lot of moving parts when you move. And if you haven't moved in several years, or you don't move very often, it can be very overwhelming to even think of all the processes, like the steps and processes that need to happen. Or you maybe just need physical help getting it done. Again, some of my older clients, like my senior clients, just, they know what to do. They just can't physically do it. So, I can guide them through the process, or sometimes I don't even have to guide them. They just say, "Well, I know this and this and this. Can you just make it happen?" And absolutely. So my favorite clients that are moving are those that know they're moving within like at least 3 to 6 months beforehand. That gives us plenty of time to declutter the spaces if we need to, prepare for an estate sale if that's going to happen, or garage sales, or just to be able to take away donations and feel good about the things that are leaving the home and not going to your new place. and then gives us time to like plan and organize to pack, because I also with a team of organizers I pack, and unpack, like schedule the movers and do the unpacking, shelf lining at the new place, organizing and labeling your new home, whatever needs to be done. So I can take you through that whole process. And so those, yeah, long-winded answer about who my clients are, but it does cover a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm thinking about this shutting the door. I'm sure you remember Friends where Monica had that closet that everything just shut in. And then I think it was Joey that opened it
Yes.
once. Like, oh, like nothing fell out, but it was so crammed in there, right? So
Right.
so to wrap up, I mean, obviously you're talking about all the moving and stuff. So, you have so much knowledge and you've always wanted to be an organizer. So with your background and all those things, kind of tell us what kind of tips would you give to the audience that's listening about, you've been doing this, like I said, your whole life. So what kind of tips would you give them moving forward?
Yeah. So I would say, um, again, when I started by talking about the endless options of organizing products, if you find the impulse, I mean, if you can't fight the impulse to walk by that beautiful basket that you've ever seen, like it's the most beautiful thing, I have to have it, unless it's the perfect match that you've been waiting for, that like fills that empty corner in your room, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have the space for it's perfect. Imagine anything you bring into your home. Just imagine what item or items you're willing to donate, trash, or sell to make space for that new item. And then also, if you're thinking of bringing containers in, whether it's like basement containers, garage containers, or like the smaller containers for kitchens and pantries and closets, things like that, declutter first, and then figure out what it is that you need to contain, and then do measurements if you need to do measurements or whatever, and measure your space, and then you can go to the store shopping and see what you want. And like a quick trip, like a quick little trick, and I've seen this on some like social media reels too. A quick trip is like to take like a paper roll, like a piece of paper or like a big roll of paper, that art paper, and put it in the space. Like if it's a confined space, like a cabinet or a drawer, just put it in that space, and either draw on it, like draw a line with a pencil or something so that you can cut it, and then take that to the store and then just lay it out on the aisle floor if you're shopping in a store, like I like to do, like hands on, and then lay down the products and see if they'll fit. And then that way you'll save time, you'll save money. And then any other tips that I share, like I share local resource tips, places that accept donations, certain items like wedding dresses or jeans or Legos, and like those specialty items that you need to get rid of and you want to either try to sell or donate, things like that. I share tips like that and local resources on my Facebook and my Instagram pages as well. So, yeah,
Well,
I think that's.
this has been great. I mean, you're truly an expert, and I know moving is your passion because your whole life that's what you've moved so many times, even out of the country. And I think that's,
Yeah.
anytime I think of somebody moving, I think of you because you are the person that could help them get organized. And moving is stressful. And I really think that is one of your expertise, is to help them do that, just because you've done that, like you said, your whole life. And
Like 18 times.
wow. Wow. I mean, that's what I said. That's a lot. That's a lot. So that is really, so you guys, we've been putting her information up there. We've been putting her website. Please reach out to Amy. If you yourself want a little bit more information about getting organized, somebody that needs help, somebody that's getting ready for a move. She is definitely somebody with so much knowledge. Just from this short little time we've been on here, I'm ready to go work on my stuff. Honestly, thank you so much for jumping on with me today. I think this was so important to talk about during Stress Awareness Month, because getting organized, like I said, even just in one room can make such a difference. And I know just what you said, when you walk by and you can leave that door open and it looks good, you smile. There is nothing better than when your kitchen's clean. Most people come in through their kitchen, at least I do, from my garage. And if the counters are clean, the dishes are done, you smile, right? When you're going on vacation, you do not want to leave the house a mess, because you're going to come home with your suitcases and all that. You want it to look nice and neat. And I think all those things really can can be so helpful to our overall health and wellness with stress. So thank you so much for taking the time this morning to jump on with me. I hope you guys learned a lot from Amy. She has so much to give. You can jump on. You saw her calendar pop up there as well. Jump on. She does free phone consultations, so you can see if this is a good fit for you or anybody you know. Thank you again so much. I greatly appreciate this.
Thank you, Amy.
You guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Happy opening day. Hopefully the Cardinals win. Hopefully the Blues win tonight, and we keep fighting for that playoff spot. So have a wonderful day, guys. See you next week.